Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Morning, it's a live edition. It's a Tuesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We're going to have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show and Mike Morgan from ESPN SEC Network talk a little college hoops. Speaking of college hoops, Gators game tonight has been moved to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time due to the weather across the country. So tune in early. I assume it's still going to be telecast at 5 p.m. But if someone knows differently, let us know. If you missed it last night, Bucks did exactly what I thought they would do with the Eagles. Eagles have serious issues on offense.
Man, do they ever.
Defense, they ain't very good either. But they it's a very unsound offense they run. They have no answers for the blitz, zero. And Buffalo did what we thought they would do. So your final 8 teams are set. Should be a lot of fun next weekend. Let's go to the Titan Emerald Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. And we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. How you doing? Looking out here with St. Andrews Bay. It's kind of a foggy morning. We're an hour behind you. And a bit chilly out here, Shane, up here in Northwest Florida.
Dan says that the game will be on ESPN2 at 5 p.m. So we'll get to watch that.
Does that drive you crazy? Drives you crazy trying to find the games these days, you know?
Well, I knew it was going to be on TV. I just didn't know what channel. As long as it's not on one of those streaming networks, that's all that matters. So
I know that's bad enough. We got to look up for the games on Peacock. I'm a member. I just can't find it. And all the things that we go through with, trying to find the games. And then the games just started late and they put them on a different channel. And I'm in a different system up here. I don't have Cox. You hate Cox, I know, but at least you can talk to you. I know.
YouTube TV. YouTube TV is the way to go, buddy.
That is probably a good idea. But I'm already on a system up here called Wow, which is in a condo building, and it's pretty good, except you can't talk it to your clicker like you can with Cox. Say Gators basketball, they'll find it. You can't do that here. So I'm learning.
Andy's question here before we jump into it. As a former QB, how did Hurts' dislocated finger impact his play last night? I don't think it affected it at all. I watched the Manning cast, and
I watched that too. He did.
Eli actually taped up his middle finger, and was throwing all week in his backyard with his kids to see.
Yeah.
The middle finger doesn't have a whole lot to do with throwing the football. Look, here's the problem with the Eagles. They are so unsound on offense, meaning they have no answers for when a defense does something. I didn't see them throw one hot route against the blitz. I didn't see them redirect their protection against the blitz. It's like they don't watch tape. They just expect plays to work. I think they got serious problems in Philadelphia. I would not be surprised if they don't fire everybody.
What happened to that team? They were once pretty good.
Well, I think the more tape people got on them, on their offense, their scheme, that they have no answers. And I think they'll make wholesale changes there, personally.
They sure dropped. Listen, one thing about it, I will say about the NFL, the more college football screws up, the more fans the NFL's getting. Like they don't need them. They got enough already. And there's a lot of people just throwing the towel saying, I've had it. They'll come back. But just to get tired every day of reading stories about another player leaving and saying, I'm sorry, I got to go. I get it. Players ought to get paid. They should. They handle this thing badly. It's going to be years. And you said last night, you don't know if it'll ever be straightened out, Shane, on my show.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I'm very disappointed in college athletics. But the NFL, we'll get back to college here in just a second. But next week, listen to your quarterback matchups. You got C.J. Stroud versus Lamar Jackson. Jordan Love against Brock Purdy.
I love Jordan Love.
Jared Goff. And then Pat Mahomes against Josh Allen. This will be, I think Pat Mahomes, I saw he's played 15 playoff games in his career. This will be his first road playoff game.
Wow.
In Buffalo. So
Wow.
those are some elite quarterbacks right there.
That
That have played
tells
in
you
the
what
high.
you want to know. That's the guys that get to the playoffs, get deep in the playoffs. The guys with the good QBs, right?
Well, that helps. That helps for sure. Jason says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Eagles losing Shane Steichen leaves hurt more hurt more than they are ever thought. Oh yeah, unless yeah, Shane Steichen I think is a good play caller, but the Eagles, I've never seen a professional football team have that many issues uh, trying to get rid of the football against the blitz.
Boy, Todd
So.
Bowles knew how to get to him, didn't he? What a
Well,
blitz
that's what
package.
Todd Bowles is all about. It's like
Yeah.
the Eagles didn't even prepare, but they had no answer to what to do with the
How
blitz.
can that happen? How can that happen at that level?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but Jason Kelsey, the longtime center, announced his retirement. He's had a hell of a career for sure. All right. Kevin wants to know, why do you think it took a whole quarter before Smith was given a chance to touch the ball? I don't know the answer. I think the Eagles offense is so vanilla, high schoolish, so to speak. And it showed yesterday. Buddy, you were talking to me on the show last night. You had Edgar on. Did you have Edgar on your show, or you
Now, it
just
was an article he wrote for the Sentinel a couple of days ago about whether or not he actually gave uh, Napier a vote of confidence without giving him one. He handled it skillfully, the way he did it. To me, again, like the Gators, they were about 2 weeks short on that. What took them so long to do that? And why did it take the priding of Edgar Thompson, who's a hell of a reporter, by the way, who cornered uh, him at the basketball game and asked some poignant questions about what's going on. And he made it sound convincing, although I have yet to see if it will happen. He said he's the coach. Napier's the guy. He's not on any kind of hot seat. That's a made up term. I don't know where that came from. And he says he's our coach. The contract runs through, 25. And the payout is astonishing. It's over 25 million if they had to fire him. So he made it clear that they're taking their stand and they're going to live and die with Billy Napier. I hope he is man enough to be able to withstand that, or it could cost him his job.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. I do. Look, the schedule next year, everyone knows is very difficult. I think the beginning of it is not that difficult. You got to win those games and just see what happens. You got to play the game. Um, and then we'll see how it progresses after that. But there's no question. There's severe pressure on Scott. There's severe pressure on Billy. If nobody doesn't think that, they're living in la la land. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to win football games. You got to win basketball games. You got to win.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's in charge of the whole athletic department. He understands that.
You want to know what pressure is? Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, my goodness. They folded completely.
Yeah, I was not surprised there either, though. As I said on my show yesterday, I think Dak Prescott's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's one of the top 10 in the league.
You're
And it
about to
showed.
convince me of that. The way he played, he missed wide open receivers. His timing was off. He made poor throws, poor decisions. He just looked like a different quarterback. When you're 60-0 at home, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Homebrew Studios on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, let's not discount Tampa, who was in cap hell. They were in this year. Yeah, they got some serious cap issues, but
90
look,
million in non-playing money,
yeah,
right?
because of Brady, I think. But yeah, I thought New Orleans would win that division, but you got to give them credit. Baker Mayfield, whatever people don't, I like Baker. I like the way he plays. He's gritty. He makes plays. He's accurate with the football. But that team rallies around him. They believe in him. So now they got to go to Detroit. I don't know
Play
if they can
your
beat the
Detroit
Lions there.
Lions to play your Detroit Lions, the team you picked to win it all, right?
Yep. All right, buddy, we got a question here for you from Barone. He says, is there any justifiable reason that Napier's bouts more than double of Dabo's? If Dabo's is 6 to 9 million, why Strickland and put Napier's over 20 million? I'll give you my 2 cents, buddy. You can add to it.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with Strickland. This is all about the agent.
That's
The
exactly
agents
right.
set the buyouts.
Yeah.
And that's why these agents do so well. And Jimmy Sexton is the best at it. I don't know if that is Billy's agent or not, but am I wrong there, buddy?
No, I think you're exactly right. The agents have pumped it up, so outrageously that you can't really fire a guy without eating, and you can't eat $25 million on a program these days. I mean, Florida's got a lot of money, but not that much money. And look, he hasn't been a total flop. He's been disappointing. He's obviously got a losing record after 2 years and not what we thought they were going to be. We've discussed this 100 times on your show and mine. We've liked Billy Napier. He is a pretty good play caller. He seems to be, I don't know, schematically, I don't know what you think about that, but the thing about it is he's got so many people to manage. How can you manage a group that big and be a football coach? And he's got to hand it off. We've talked about this 100 times, whether it's a special teams coach, offensive coordinator, etc. Allegedly, they're going to hire an offensive coordinator. But who? How much
I don't
better
think
would
they are.
You don't think
I
they
don't
are?
think they are. They would have done it by now. That's just my opinion. I thought DJ Lagway came out and said that Billy was calling the plays. I read that somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't. Well, I don't know about that. You could be right, but the thing about it is that and I know the head coach sets the playbook anyway, and effectively, who calls the plays? He's basically calling plays they've all agreed on. It's situational football, right? What do you do? Win. That's what it counts, and that's the whole thing. So I know the answer to that question, except I know Edgar wrote a really good piece about it. It sounded to me like it was definitely a dreaded vote of confidence. And it looks like he's got his man, and Scott Strickland's standing his ground.
Yeah. Joseph says Strickland is on the hot seat himself. Of course, he's going to give Billy isn't on the hot seat.
Yeah. Well, he didn't even say that. He said it's a made up term. So I don't know where that even came from. Well, and I know where it came from. By the way, he doesn't get to say he's on the hot seat. They tell it's time to go pull the plug. The fans will speak on that matter. And if you ask the fans, I'd say right now, if you took a poll, they're probably at least 60% would say, yeah, he's on the hot seat. Wouldn't you think so?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, when you have a losing record at a major school in the SEC, you're on the hot seat every time you run out
After
of that
2
tunnel.
years. Yeah.
Even when you run out of the damn tunnel, you're in the hot seat. You got to go win. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he may hire somebody but he's got to fire somebody on offense.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But as I've said here, and everybody has their own opinion, offense is not the problem. Now, are we really, really explosive and all that? No. But the majority of the issues are on the defensive side of the ball and on special teams. Reggie says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, if Napier was calling plays this year, then why did he make a play on the Ole Miss coordinator? I think Billy still makes moves come February 1st when contracts are up. It may.
Hey, Shane, ever heard of this guy? Should we interrupt you? I just got to get this in now because it's pertinent. Listen, this guy at Tulane has had a 5-star wide receiver, Shaz Preston, by the way, the 5-star transfer Mario Williams from Southern Cal, a 4-star high school quarterback in Jaden Lewis from Edison, all comes within 10 days after landing 5-star quarterback Ty Thompson. And barely a month of the job, you ever heard of this guy? I never have. Coach John Sumrall has put the entire country on notice. The Green Wave will be a force to be reckoned with in 2024. Well, there you go. That's what people want to see. How does he do?
He's the head coach. He was the head coach at Troy. He's now at Tulane, and he got some kids in the out of the portal to come play at Tulane.
How?
He obviously
Not
has
money.
A relationship. What's that?
It can't be that much money. I know Tulane's got money, but they don't spend
Tulane is a private institution, buddy. I bet they got the money. I bet they got some money. But
probably
his coaching staff may have relationships with those players because they all came out of the portal.
That many, my
3
guys. Well, they're 5 stars, 2 5 stars, and a 4, and that's in 10 days.
Yeah, well, Bam Hardman, former Gators, on his staff now too. So, look, we don't know what happens I'm telling you, don't know what happens in this portal. Maybe they're the only. So every one of those kids is transferring from another institution. So we don't know the whole story there. Radware is a
sure.
family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. We got Buddy Martin on the Titanmore hotline. We'll have Mike Morgan shortly, and we'll talk a little college hoops. I don't know what Mike. I assume he's at on the road. I don't know. Can't be flying or driving right now. Lauren Meadows says,
you got a storm in Gainesville, looks like, behind you there.
absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
it's snowing everywhere.
Did you go skiing this morning outside? You could
I
have.
did. It was dark. I skied in the dark, buddy.
Okay. Did you see this? This is a sweet note. We've heard a lot about Miles Graham. And of course, his dad, Ernest, is a guy well known. And the problems they went through, they now have come out and Miles has sort of backed off his statement about Billy and what happened. And after he cooled down, it was a story in the Sentinel about that too. This morning, his birthday, Ernest tweeted this: "Happy birthday, Miles Graham, from his dad, Ernest. Thank you, son. I thank God for the gift to wake up every day and be a dad." That's pretty sweet right there, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Buddy, how about this? If I would have told you 3 years ago that the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator at Indiana University or University of Indiana, however they pronounce it up there,
Yeah.
would be
IU.
well, but they call it University of Indiana.
I know. It's like
But
Oklahoma.
it's
They call it
IU. It
OU.
makes no damn sense. Same way with OU
Yeah.
and KU for Kansas
Right.
and Oklahoma.
I know.
It's dumb.
It is.
So the moral to the story is their offense coordinator for the Hoosiers and the defense coordinator of the Hoosiers are now in charge of the University of Alabama football program.
Amazing.
Yep. So
I didn't see that one coming, Shane. I got to say,
Kalen DeBoer was the offensive coordinator. He's now the head coach.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator has been the head coach at South Alabama. He is leaving that head coaching job at South Alabama to be the DC at Alabama.
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff happened in a hurry. These coaches that you never heard of suddenly are running a major program one day. And I know that obviously Alabama got their man, and he did a great job at Washington. I give him props for that. I didn't know a lot about him prior to this year. Did you?
Who, Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a little bit about him, but he's had a heck of a run. He's a good football coach. We'll see how it translates.
Obviously, he's a good
Alabama.
football coach. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Cliff says this. I don't know who he could hire as an offensive coordinator. I don't have a problem with the offense. I just think he needs an OC to take that responsibility off him so he can focus on other things such as
Good point.
management.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Everybody loves that point, and I see that point. But as many games as I have been on a field or on the sideline or been a part of football, I personally don't think that's an issue. I think, like I told you, a lot of the game management issues are the responsibilities of the damn assistant coaches. And that has bothered me more than anything.
What you're saying is you don't think they're very good assistant coaches, what you're saying.
Well, not that they're not good at game management or understanding the situation.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Some people know football, but they don't know situations.
Right.
And most of those people that know football are the ones that they learn in the freaking coaching conventions and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You either just have it or you don't when it comes to situational football. And that bothers me because I have zero problem with Billy Napier being the head coach calling the plays, but other people have to understand football. And I don't think we have some of those on there. You know, Hugh Freeze is going back to calling plays, being the head football coach.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin calls the plays. I don't care what they say about Charlie Weiss Jr. He does not call the plays, people. Lane calls them. So they're Kalen DeBoer. He calls some of them, but he's also got offense coordinator. So that's the least of my worries. My worries about this football team is playing defense tackling
and
people,
and
special teams.
Yeah, I agree.
So there.
Yeah, I agree with you. But not every head coach should be a play caller. You have to work for the best that there was in that regard, and the tempo, the feeling of play calling. I don't know. It's kind of like a guy being the dice table in Vegas. Sometimes you got a hot hand. You can get it going. And I don't know what it is exactly, but I just don't see it from Billy at this point in time. he knows football and he has some good plays. But this riverboat gambler thing that he was built up to be, scared money, don't make money, all that, that's not who he is as a play caller, in my opinion. I think he's a smart football guy. I think he knows how to call ball plays. But something's melting and missing in that breakdown, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can tell you that comes from your staff.
Yeah.
You got to have people that understand what football is all about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who this is from. It says Nick Saban was on the hot seat after the close game with USF last year. Fans are delusional. I don't know about that.
No.
Daryl says, good morning. Marty Smith made a comment on his show last Saturday. College football is broken, and I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100% with that.
Well,
Not
I wrote
college
this
football,
past
college athletics.
Well, yeah, and I wrote a piece this past week raising the question: did we just see the death of college football? Now, that's obviously overstated on a purpose. It's kind of, it's aggrandizement when you overstate something to get a reaction. But I made it akin to the song "The Day the Music Died." Bye bye Miss America by Don McLean, and when it was declared music was dead. But it feels like something is broken. And when I talk to a guy like you who's worked his whole life in football, played it, and I say, Shane, what can we do? And you say, other than get money, I don't know. That's disturbing to me. Guys who are not experts on the game in terms of the overall ball plays and calling and coaching. That disturbing is that nobody seems to be coming forward with an answer. I guess the answer will be in the guy who shows up and wins the most games. And how you did it, I don't know. There's no model for it, Shane.
No, there's not. And, I know people get so upset. You brought it up about the transfer portal, the players that Tulane just got. Look, I've talked to multiple coaches, friends of mine around the country at all different levels of football. And I would say 98% of them, a high percentage, says that if any kid leaves and goes somewhere else, it is all based on he is getting paid more money than the other place.
This is capitalism, Shane. That's how it works.
Yeah. So
we're going to be pro football. We're going to be pro football, and that's what it is.
Well, it's not pro. It's pro football with no rules. Let's put it that way.
Well, okay, yeah, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, for sure, I agree, and I don't know what to say about it. I'm out of answers. I talked to someone over the weekend that you know quite well, and he told me a story about an offensive lineman that Mississippi State wanted, and they went after him and said, "We'll offer you $100,000 to come to Mississippi State," and he laughed at him. He said, "LSU's already offered me $1 million."
Yeah, yeah. There's we talked about on your show last night. There are so many kids, and look, this isn't the kids' fault. I don't blame them because get your money while you can, because majority of them ain't going to make it as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small percentage of these kids even getting NIL money that are going to make an NFL roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's crazy is a lot of them are making more money than guys that have been in the NFL make 4 or 5 years.
He made a great point last night on that. Yeah, you said it last night. Some guys won't make it to the pros and would have made a lot more money in college than they would ever would as a pro football player. Yeah. So this is as good as it gets for some people. Hey, Shane, you like to be making about $25,000 a year and have the days at 1990 back again? For you, what a life you'd have,
buddy. If I was playing in college football right now, I would be making about $90,000 a month. A month.
Wow. Yeah, because
that's about what the starting quarterbacks at major universities are getting these days.
I could live on that, Shane. I could live on that. Yeah.
So it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Who's writing all your teases and stuff now on Twitter? Who's doing this? Who is that?
Same people that have always done it.
Okay. I got to give kudos.
They got a whole little arsenal of folks that deal with it.
Okay. Can I give a kudo out to whoever wrote the one this morning that said, I said a regular Jerry Seinfeld question mark. It's a good thing the Bucks fired Todd Bowles. Whoever the coach is doing a heck of a job. I mean, Todd Bowles, a man who basically I forgot about almost. Now suddenly jumps up there as one of the stars of the playoffs. I mean, that defense was suffocating, and I loved that blitz package. I mean, my gosh, I'm not a huge Todd Bowles fan. I know he's a defensive coach, but that get after it blitz packet they put out on the field last
Well,
night.
I will tell you,
I know the Eagles didn't do it.
I'm gonna make a prediction right now. He better not blitz the Detroit Lions like he blitzed the Philadelphia
Yeah,
Eagles because they will
yeah,
eat him alive.
really.
Yes, yes. Jared Goff and their coordinators, their coordinator who is really good. Their quarterback coach is Mark Brunell, good buddy of mine. They will have a plan, and they can throw and catch the football. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, but there are some. I mean, I'd hate to be playing against a blitz package like that, even though there are answers to it. Not everybody can execute it well. I think when you see a defense, you see an offense on the field. Let's say Green Bay and the floor. I mean, he'd already destroyed the defense. Whatever he had done against the blitz package, he just scored 90. And anyway, it just impressed me what I saw last night. I'm a guy like to watch football. Why do you let them sit back there and pick you apart? Go get the quarterback. Do something,
Yeah, for sure. Buddy, we'll have Mike Morgan here shortly, but Gator basketball, did you watch the game Saturday against Arkansas?
I did, yes. I did. It was a complete game. We're glad to see that Ronnie Kugel was back on his game. They need that guy when he's playing. I know sometimes he'll just not show up, but he's a terrific defender, and everybody says in the NBA, he'll probably be a first-round draft choice just on his defense. Imagine if he starts making those threes again, because he takes the ball to the hole strong, man. He could be a key component. I think a lot of what Florida will do in the tournament, if they get in it, which they should, I think Ronnie Kugel could take the team a lot longer way if this game is on. Because remember what a great player he was last year.
Yeah, Dan says, I'm disappointed that so many fans paid to stream the KC game. I was hoping they would make a statement and stay away. I saw that, but I also saw somebody say that however many million called the very next day and canceled the subscription because I think you had a day or two to cancel it. Did you see that was record numbers, buddy, on that streaming?
I did not.
I wasn't Miami game.
I wasn't one of them. No, I got mad because I have a lot of the streaming stuff, but I don't have it with me. I don't know what it was, and it just aggravates me to have to look and search and find stuff. What happened the old days? You turn on the TV and get the games you want to see, Shane, for crying out loud.
Well, most of that's how it works now, but this Peacock. NBC always wants to put
I got it. But right in the middle of the playoffs, they do this. That's going to have some ticked off people, I'm going to tell you. But it is what it is. What are we going to say? Yeah. So I want to get to the point I had if I can find that. I was wrote some notes to you. Let's talk about the Buccaneers for a second. I had forgotten they were a home dog.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what they say about home dogs. So imagine they're going to go to Detroit. How much of a favorite will Detroit be?
I'd say a touchdown.
Touchdown, yeah.
Close to a touchdown.
You think the Bucs have any chance at all against them?
Well, it's the NFL. You always got chances. But Detroit is a really good football team. Offensively, they're outstanding. Should be a good matchup, but I like Detroit. I think Detroit, San Fran will be your NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I sure like the way they play football. Their quarterback is really getting paying off now. Goff has been tremendous. Beautiful play. And by the way, did you ever respond to I guess you sort of responded to it last night when I wrote the question, did Billy get the dreaded vote of confidence from Scott? You didn't read the story completely, I know.
I didn't read it at all. I just heard what you told me because I was busy watching the NFL playoff games.
Yeah, I can
tell. Like I said, what is Scott going to say? He's not going to come out and say.
Well, but just why you got to read the story because the story isn't that way. It isn't like, okay, he's our guy. He broke it down a little bit more than that. And Napier did a good job. And Napier said that not only did he deny he was on a hot seat, he said there was a made-up term. Now, he may say it's made up, but if the fans made it up, they're the ones that got to answer it. He has to answer it to. So I just don't know where that is right now. It's going to be some tough times ahead. Like you said, the first 6 games, they may dodge a bullet, go 4-2. The back half is going to be brutal. Going to be absolutely brutal. Getting what they got Ole Miss in the 11th game. So it could be really, really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, again, you got to play the game. Anything can happen. Real quick, buddy, on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Swift Mister asks, what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin's post game presser? Did you see that?
I did not see that. No, I don't
So
get
so
that
here's what happened,
service.
buddy. You being a journalist,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tomlin walks in, he stands at the podium. Their PR guy goes, okay, who's got a question for coach? And I think it was some female, or maybe it was I can't remember. He says, Mike, you have 1 year left on your contract. Blah blah blah. Tomlin just looked at him and walked right out the door.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before. It's never good. He'll get fined, but she didn't care about it. Thomas is a stubborn guy. He didn't have that right. He's required by the league to stay up there and do a request. Okay. Okay. Because I've seen it happen. Belichick never gives you an answer anyway of any kind. Just say, what do you think? Is a good thing? Yep. I mean, he just doesn't give you anything. We got the Eagles next. Well, what about so-and-so? Well, we got the Eagles next. I mean, Belichick, that's the whole purpose is this league was built on good relationships with the press and the fans. You can thank Pete Rozelle for building it that way. That's what made the NFL what it was. Now some of these rich people who are, who can call their own shots and make their own rules. I mean, look, it isn't like they resent the media. The media is the conduit to the fans. It's not that the media needs it for themselves. They've got a microphone, they got a tablet and say, tell me something. And these guys who feel like they're, whatever they are, they don't want to play along. Well, okay, I'm sorry you had a bad day, but your job is to talk to the fans. Please remember that, coaches.
Okay. We're waiting on Mike Morgan. I'm going to keep you, buddy, here for a few more minutes.
All right. Well, you bailed me out. You bailed me out last night, so I'll do the best I can. Is Mike McCarthy gone?
Yes. Not officially, but I think he'll be gone.
How could Jerry Jones keep him?
I think they clean house in Dallas. I think they clean house in Philly. We know they've already fired the Falcons coach. Belichick reportedly interviewed there yesterday. The Chargers job is open. A lot of people think that's either going to be Belichick or Jim Harbaugh. My question to you, buddy, is there's a lot of rumors out there if Harbaugh does take an NFL job that Brian Kelly will be the next Michigan coach. Wouldn't that start some snowballing? Then the LSU has to go find a coach.
Yeah, really. No kidding. That's what we're into now. It's cause and effect. It's like, one gets hired, one gets fired, and there's an open job, and next guy, and it's like checkers. They start falling, and it's going to happen because it always does. By the way, can I just say that Dan Quinn's defense, he ought not be applying for any head jobs after that. They were exposed, weren't they?
Well, they did get out schemed, but he's had a good year defensively, so they look at the big body of work when it comes to that.
Wouldn't you be embarrassed to have you put your phone up and see the guys like 10 miles open? And not once, but about 4 times.
Yeah, well, give Matt LaFleur and the other team credit.
I did.
Tim says comparing Freeze and Kiffin to Billy's play calling is just funny. Look, we had a better offense last year than Auburn, Tim. That's all I can say. I'm not going to sit here and take up for Billy's play calling, but I'm going to tell you that is not the problem with the Florida Gators.
I agree.
I am sick and tired of people thinking that.
Yeah.
Because you obviously do not watch the games.
But Shane,
do we punt at times? Yes, we punt at times. Does Ole Miss punt at times? No, they go for it on 4th down and then turn it over. Does Alabama punt? Yes. The Washington Huskies punt. So people, I would love to do. I don't know a whole lot about what goes on in the world, but I will talk football with you and try to teach you. That's why next year I recommend nobody watch the regular telecast on the Monday night game. Watch Peyton and Eli. You will learn football. You will learn what it's like to
I watched it last night. I finally took your advice.
They're phenomenal. They are so good and so funny. But it just for people
to continue.
Yeah, for people to continue talking about Gator football, offensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah. You're wrong. I'm going to tell you, you're wrong.
Yeah, I think they
We
got
need
some
to
more
learn
than
how
that.
to tackle,
Mhm.
rush the passer,
How to line up,
and
remember
play
right number.
defense.
Yeah, I agree. I watched Peyton and Eli last night. I even enjoyed Ray Lewis, and I'm not a big Ray Lewis fan. As a player, yes, but he was a nightmare as a public relations. And he had some good banter with Peyton and Eli. They talk offense, defense. I thought they were usually just a couple of quipsters, just going back and forth having fun, but they're talking ball, as you said.
Yeah, it's great. It is great. 1966 HBC beers available at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Gator Games in the O-Dome, and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager 1966 HBC beer.
I've had
We
it.
got Buddy Martin here. We're supposed to have Mike Morgan. Mike will be fine. He's a no-show so far.
We
Who
can talk
knows?
ball.
He may be stranded in an airport somewhere. I don't
Could
know.
happen. This weather right here, this could be happening for sure. Well, let's talk a little basketball. I had great hopes for this for Todd's team, Todd Golden, and I think they made some advances, but they completely fell apart. They got dominated by a really good basketball team at Ole Miss. They got some monsters on that team. What is one guy 7'5" or something? He didn't play, but they got some big guys, and they dominated Florida like they had been dominated. Then you had to look at that and say, okay, what happens now? Well, they came back against Arkansas, and they had balance. They played with heart. They were able to move. They were able to run the floor, and Kugel had a big game. I can't make up my mind about this basketball team. 1 minute I think that Golden's got them over the hump. The next I think, well, they regress. They win one, they regress. I'm not sure what they are exactly at this point in time, but they look like a tournament team. And as you know, you got to get hot for 6 games, and you got to find some players who can bring it during that time. I love their offense, their rebounding. Those young guys are really out on the boards. I like a lot about this team, but they got to get it together, and they've got to be able to not get crushed. Well, there might be that's a tough environment in Knoxville.
Well, they're playing a top 5 team in Tennessee. I don't think they win tonight.
No.
I think Florida's a very good basketball team, struggles on the defensive end. I think my prediction is they'll go 10-8 probably in league play and make the tournament. Because it's hard to win on the road. You got to win your home games. We obviously let one go with Kentucky, but I think this team's fun to watch, in my opinion. I like watching them. I love our backcourt. We got some dudes in the backcourt.
Yes, you do.
And do I think we can beat Tennessee? Everything would have to fall in place because they are an excellent defensive basketball team.
Yeah.
And they got some scores too. Buddy, their best player, you'll watch it today.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show you how many great players there are, no matter what level of basketball or football you play. Dalton Knecht. You know where he came from? He's their best player, transferred in this year.
No.
Northern Colorado.
Wow. I've been
there. He's gonna be a pro. He is a pro.
Well,
we do have Mike Morgan on.
I'll let you
he's
go.
on hold. So let's take a quick timeout. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Yeah, we'll have you tonight. We have Ben Troop on with our regular Tuesday night crew, and we'll be there at 9:00 tonight. Come join us.
Yep, good stuff. That's Buddy Martin joining us on the Titan MR hotline. We'll take a quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by Mike Morgan. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. CampusUSA, put some star power to work in your financial life with CampusUSA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by. Going to go back to the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements, and our man Mike Morgan, who's brought to you by CampusUSA Credit Union. Good morning, Mike. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, Shane. How are you?
All right. Let's talk a little college hoops real quick. Let's go back to last week. I want to say you were on the call. Were you at Mississippi State, Alabama with Mark Wise?
I had Tennessee at Mississippi State.
That's it. Yeah.
Which was a thriller. And then we had Auburn on Saturday, and Auburn blew out LSU. Auburn right now is just at a different level. It's the deepest team that Bruce Pearl's had. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's definitely the deepest. They play 10 guys 15 minutes or more. I don't know another team in the country that does that.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk briefly about the Gators. Their game got moved to 5 o'clock today against Tennessee. I don't know if that's a good thing. Maybe good. Maybe the Thompson Bowling won't be full, but this Tennessee team somehow found a way to win that game against Georgia. We know they're highly touted. What do the Gators have to do, in your opinion, to win in Thompson Bowling Arena?
Well, figure out how to stop Dalton Connect, but nobody's been able to do that. I was amazed seeing him in person, and then watching him again in that Georgia game where you're right. I mean, they really were beaten and somehow escaped with a win. But he is a special player. I mean, he went to Northern Colorado, and I was saying this on our broadcast when they played Mississippi State. He was second team all Big Sky. And my question is, who are the 5 players in the Big Sky better than Dalton Connect? The game that we had in Starkville, I do some Atlanta Hawks games, and one of their scouts was in attendance, and he was kind enough to show me the list of guys he was looking at, and top of the list was Dalton Connect. And they said, well, we don't know if he can defend anybody, but offensively, I mean, he's a bucket getter, and that's what he is. And people will look at him and they will assume he's just a really good shooter, and he is, but he can beat you off the bounce. Like he's athletic, he's quick, he's explosive. He's got a 6'6" body. Like he's a legit dude. So he and Ziegler really make that thing go. Like James has been there for 17 years, it seems, and he's a solid role player. Nothing particularly special. Their Adu is a rim protector, and that's always valuable. But Florida's got rim protectors too. I don't see a major advantage there. I think it comes down to defending Ziegler and defending Connect. I mean, Vescovy is fine. I've never been overly impressed with Vescovy. He does make winning plays, but like I don't think he's at the top of the scouting report the way those other two guys are.
Yeah. It's crazy. Everybody gets so excited, regardless of what sport it is, about, getting this 5-star from a well-known high school, or, picking up a kid out of the transfer portal from a big name school. But I mean, you just talked about Dalton Connect from Northern Colorado. Pullen for the Gators is from Kyle Riverside, or I don't even know where he's from. You got Walter Clayton Jr., who's from Iona. I mean, there's so many good players in the country that people never heard of, and they kind of get turned off by them because of where they're playing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And really what the portal has done, it makes coaches a lot smarter in recruiting, because now you're getting proven products. And like you mentioned, Pullen, and I think it's UC Bakersfield, but they're all the same to me. Yeah. But I mean, like if you watch that kid play, as Todd Golden did, obviously he came from California, so he knows all about them. Then he can play in the SEC. Whereas you recruit some 5-star, and plenty of 5-stars have come to Florida over the years. More often than not, they've succeeded. Mike White had a couple, quite frankly, that did not pan out very well. Sometimes you still don't know, because you're still banking on a 17, 18-year-old kid, as opposed to a guy who's a grown man who's played 3 years and has shown you what you can do. So that now, like if you look at the Final Four, Shane, see how many McDonald's All-Americans you could count last year. And then converse that with how many portal guys were on the Final Four teams. It's not even close. The majority of teams in the Final Four have more portal players than they do McDonald's All-Americans. So it makes the recruiting process a lot more layered and a lot more interesting, in my opinion, in terms of how you get guys to really improve your program.
Yeah. Kentucky goes to College Station, loses in double overtime to a team that was, I think, picked high in the preseason rankings in the SEC, A&M. They kind of got off to a sluggish start. I don't know Buzz Williams personally at all. I've watched him coach for a long time. I absolutely love the guy. I love it when he talks to the sideline reporter going into half. How is Buzz Williams? Is he a good dude?
He's a good dude. I would say he's different. In my interactions with him, we go to practice and shoot arounds, and obviously we talk to him afterward, and you never know what you're going to get with Buzz. He is the most unorthodox speaker when it comes to just kind of breaking down the questions that we ask. So he's a different, and that's what you want. You want different personalities. You don't want 14 and soon to be 16 cookie cutter coaches, whether it's football or baseball or basketball or anything else. Buzz is definitely his own dude. He's his own guy. And that was a huge, they had to have that game. I knew Kentucky could be in trouble because I knew the importance of that game for Texas A&M. They were winless in the SEC. They've been kind of a disappointment, despite the fact that they returned most of their key players from a year ago. They had to have it, and they came through when they needed the two players, Baldwin and Boots, Radford. They were clutch in that game, and Kentucky, it sounded like Kentucky had a bad day. They just ran into a buzzsaw with A&M. But yeah, Buzz is definitely a different cat.
George on the Titanamar text line asks you, Mike, if you're Todd Golden, who do you put on Dalton Connect today?
Boy, that's a great question. Without looking at the see, I mean, most of the guards, like Pullen is too small. Clayton is too small, even though he's a Bulldog. I'm trying. But see, you can't put a big on him because a big, he can blow by a big. I put Kugel on him. I mean, Riley's got the athleticism. Maybe that last game offensively will get him some more confidence and put a little spark in his game. But in terms of the best athletic matchup, if Kugel's all in he is the best guy to put on him, in my opinion, because he's got the athleticism to guard him on the bounce. He's got the length to challenge jump shots. He's got the quickness to defend connect. I think Riley Kugel would be the best candidate, just thinking off the top of my head, of the guys on the roster.
Yeah, I was talking to Buddy Martin earlier. He gets frustrated with, as many Gator fans do. You play a good game, then you get beat. You play a good game, you get beat. That's just the life of conference play, in my opinion. I don't think we win today. I hope we play well. I hope we do win, but I don't think we can win in Thompson-Boling Arena. What do you think Florida, when it's all said and done, what do you think their record's going to be once the season ends in SEC play?
I think Florida is going to be in a rather loaded boat of teams that are fighting for, 500 or just above 500 and fighting for an NCAA tournament bid. This is going to be a league that's going to get 8-9 teams in the big dance, but those last few are going to be bubble teams. So, I mean, like Tennessee is going to be a lock, and Alabama and Kentucky and Auburn are going to be lock. Those four, barring some major setbacks, they're going to coast into the NCAA tournament. But it's the next tier, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How good is Ole Miss really? I'll have a better idea after tomorrow. How good is South Carolina? They're a surprise story this season. And then Florida, to me, is a wild card team. I've got them 3 or 4 more times this year, Shane, and I'm really curious what they're going to look like. Are they going to get better as time moves along, or are they going to continue to just kind of look good one day and look not so good the next? But you bring up a great point. This league is too loaded where basketball is not an undefeated sport, okay? You're going to lose games, particularly on the road. On the road, you're just trying to steal a game here and there. At home, you want to defend your home court at all costs. You lose a tough one to Kentucky, and it's smarts because you had that game won, but that's not a bad loss. Kentucky is Final Four good this year, but you can't afford to lose many more home games, and you need to steal 1 or 2 on the road. Whether or not it's Tennessee today, I don't know, because Tennessee is going to be very difficult. But I see certainly some road games that Florida will be more likely to steal down the road.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Tennessee is fortunate. They could have gone 0-2 as the 5th ranked team in America last week, but they had that great comeback to go 1-1. Mike, last question before we get you out of here. Dan's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Who is the most difficult as far as SEC coaches to interview?
Well, like you said, Buzz is the most interesting. None of them are really difficult, honestly. They're all pretty good guys, and they're all very media savvy, and they're good with us. Buzz is a bit of a wild card because you never know what he's going to say. Jerry Stackhouse is a bit of a wild card because you're just not sure what he's going to say. And then right now, of course, they're having a tough time. So I don't know if Jerry's in the the most media friendly state of mind. But when I think about it, in all honesty, they're all good guys. They're all fun to talk to with different personalities. I'm a fan of all of them in terms of the way they handle their business with the media. So I can't say there are any true problems. There have been a few in the past, but not any this year.
All right. What games you got this week?
So I've got that Ole Miss squad tomorrow. First time I will see Ole Miss in person. We've got them against LSU and Baton Rouge, and I want to see just how good Coach Beard's team is. I think he's done a remarkable job with virtually the same roster that they had a year ago, but they're obviously playing much better. And then speaking of Kentucky, I've got Georgia at Kentucky Saturday. And, Mike White, to me, Georgia's much improved. I think Georgia, South Carolina, and Ole Miss are the most improved teams in the league this year. So I'll see 2 of those in the next 5 days. And, of course, Kentucky, to me, is the most talented team top to bottom in the league. So that's the way the rest of the week shapes up.
All right, my man. We appreciate your time. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
Stay warm, Shane.
Absolutely. That's Mike Morgan from the SEC Network and ESPN. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. He's brought to you by CampusUSA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with CampusUSA Credit Union. Appreciate everybody chiming in today. Remember, Gators tip-off at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe it's on ESPN2. If you can't watch it, you can always tune in and listen to Lee Humphrey and Sean Kelly on the call. Have a great day, folks. Stay safe wherever you are. Take care.